Hello everyone, my name is Randall and welcome back to this third HTML video. In this video, we'll be creating our own HTML programs with images. Before we start, I would like to briefly talk about what you have done so far. In the introduction video, you were able to create your own first HTML file. In the second video, you are able to add other elements to your HTML file, such as center align, bold, italic, horizontal rule, and using the anchor tag, we were able to link to other websites. In this video, you'll be creating a HTML file with images in them. So as you can see, this is the final product that hopefully you will be able to create at the end of this tutorial. And in this tutorial, we will also be talking about Alan Turing. Alan Turing is widely considered to be the father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to search for an image that we would like to use and save it to our computer. So my advice is to go on your web browser and type in onto Google the image that you would like to add. For this tutorial, I will be adding an image of Alan Turing. So I'm going to Google Alan Turing. And I'm going to click on the images because all I want are images. Now, to make sure that you're using photos that you are allowed to share and use without any copyrights, you want to go to this option, any license, and change it to free to share and use. Now, what that has done, it has filtered the images so that these are images that we are able to share and to use ourselves. The image that I've chosen is the second image here for Alan Turing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and select the option Save Image As. For now, I'm going to rename the file to Alan Turing. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. So it should appear right here on my desktop. Right, okay. So you want to make sure that wherever you saved your image, that it is saved in the same location as your .html file. So as you can see here, I've saved my image on my desktop, and I've also stored my .html file in my desktop. If you were saving your HTML file elsewhere, so I've got a folder called HTML and I've saved it here, you also want to make sure that your image is located in that same folder or file. Okay, otherwise it will not work. So it is important to make sure that the image and the .html document are saved together or are located in the same file or folder. Now that we have an image, we're going to look at how we can add this image into our HTML web page. Okay, so the tag for images in HTML is img. The img tag defines an image in any HTML page. The image tag, however, requires two attributes for it to work. So similar to what we've discussed in the previous video with the anchor tag and the href attribute, the image tag requires the attribute src, which stands for source. So this attribute is where we define what image or what file we want to display in our web page. And the other attribute is the alt, or the alt, which stands for alternative text. And this attribute is used when the image is not available and instead it displays text. So this is often used when websites are taking a long time to load images. So you see the text come up saying error, no images found, or it could say image loading, things like that. Right, so what does that look like in our HTML file? So if I open up this HTML file, now I want the image to be located between the heading and the paragraph. So I'm going to click enter here, and I'm going to type in img, okay? And remember, the img requires two attributes, src, and the other one is alt. But for now, we'll focus on src. So src equals, and then in quotation marks, the name of your file. So as you can see here, the name of my file is alanturing.jpg. So what I want to do is I want to enter that here, exactly word for word with capital letters and especially the .jpg at the end, meaning it's a JPEG file. Okay, now when you save images, sometimes it will not tell you what file it is. It won't appear with that .jpg at the end. It could be a .png or other forms or types. To find out, you can right click, and on Windows is properties. There's an option called properties, but for Mac it's get info. So if you click on that, you can then see what type of document it is. It will show that .jpg, and you always want to add what type your image is when you're entering it here in your HTML. If you leave it as just Alan Turing, the file will not find the image because it's not called Alan Turing. It's actually called Alan Turing, then what type of file it is. So you need to make sure you include that. Okay. And then the other attribute for img is alt. So you just want to do alt equals. Again, remember, if you open a quotation mark, you need to make sure there's an end quotation mark, and you always want to do it like this, okay? Otherwise, as you can see here, I've opened a question mark. The file thinks that all of this from here to here is within that quotation mark. So I don't want to do that. I want the alt text to say this is an image, or just to be short, image of Alan Turing. Okay, and as you can see, now that I've ended the quotation mark, these are not pink anymore, meaning they're not inside the quotation marks, and we've done it correctly. Last thing we need to do is close the img tag. Okay, now there is no need for an end tag because img, as you can see here with this icon, does not have a pair or an end tag, similar to the HR tag that we've used before for horizontal rule. It doesn't need a pair. Okay, so I believe that should be it. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to click File, Save, and hopefully when we open up our HTML, we can see the image. As you can see, it worked perfectly for me. If I go back and I change the code and I make a mistake, like I said, if I don't have that .jpeg and I click save and reopen up my HTML, as you can see, the alternative text will appear, image of Alan Turing, as I've stated here. Okay, so that is important. You want to make sure you add the type of file or image that it is. Now, I don't really like the image there, okay, on the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the center. And to do that, all I need to do is surround this line with the center tag that we've learned before. Now, if I click save, if I refresh this, as you can see, I am now able to display an image on my web page, and it's making my web page a lot better than it was before. And in the previous video, we looked at adding links to other web pages. So if you've got those down and you understand how to do all of that, as you can see, our website, or not website, if I keep saying website, it's not correct. Our web page or HTML page is looking a lot better. Okay, right, good. So additional to adding images to your web page, you can also change the width and the height. So some of you might have chosen images that are too big or images that are too small. The image I've chosen, I think, is actually quite nice in terms of size, but I might want to make it a tiny bit bigger so that it's sort of align with the heading. Okay, so a tiny bit bigger. To do that, we can add two more attributes to our img tag. The attributes that we'll be adding is width and height. So we go back to our code. Here inside the img tag, I'm going to add the attribute width, and again you want equals and a value, and let's double check. And again, as you can see here, you want to surround it with quotation marks. I'm going to try for now 100 for the width, and for the height I'm going to do 100 as well and see what that looks like. Okay, now my text editor sort of stops along this margin and then enters a new line. So yours might be all in one line, but mine automatically goes here at the end. So don't worry if yours looks like yours looks different from mine. It should still be, yeah, it'll still work. Okay. So I've updated my HTML. I'm going to open it up. As you can see, 100 width and 100 height actually makes my image a lot smaller than I want. So I'm going to play around with the values. I'm going to try maybe 300 and 300 and see what that looks like. Yep, that looks close to what I want it to be, but it seems a bit stretched. So I think I want to change my height to maybe 250 and see what that looks like. Oop, I meant to change the width. As you can see, it's compressing the image a bit more, making it look tacky, and I don't really want that. So again, this is all just to do with playing around, okay, and testing your program or rerunning your program. I sort of like that, but I think I need the height a bit more. So that's wider. No, I'm just going to keep it as it is. I don't want to spend too much time on this, so I'm going to leave it as it is there. But yeah, take your time. You might want to pause your video and make sure you got your image the way you like it. Okay, and then continue. Right, okay, so we've added images to our web page. It's looking a lot smarter, a lot more like a proper web page, okay, with images. But what we can also do is we can change those images so that when we click them, they also direct us to a website. Now, to do that, what we simply want to do is inside our image tag, we want to add an anchor which links to a different website. So if I show you a demonstration here, as you can see, oh, sorry, the other way around. We want an anchor to surround the image tag. So as you can see, this is the start of an anchor tag. This is the end, and inside is the image. So here we're saying if you click on the image displayed, so in this case, if you click on the Technocamps logo, it will take you to the Technocamps website there. Okay, so let's give this a go in our HTML file. So we've got the image that we've centered. All we want to do is we want to surround it with the anchor tag. The anchor tag needs to have the href attribute, and then don't forget the quotation marks, and you need the https:// then the website. So I'm going to take, for now, when we click the Alan Turing website, I'm going to take it, I want to link it to technocamps.com. Okay, then end it with a quotation mark. Now don't forget, once we open a tag, we need to close it. So I want to close it here, really, because I want to surround this part of my code. And to make it look nicer, you want to tab it in. Now, the way my editor is currently, even if I tab it in, it's quite confusing because the text goes to the next line like this, and I can't really change that. But hopefully yours will look much nicer where it's tabbed in, and you don't have this line here where it's at the end, so that you can see these two anchor tags sort of linked together or are parallel together. Okay, so if I was to save that and open this up, now I'm able to interact with my image. When I click my image, can you see? It actually takes me to the Technocamps website. But what you can do instead, when you click on the image, so I've saved it down here at the bottom, I want it to take me to the wiki page for Alan Turing. So I just want to change this into that. I can get rid of this here because I don't want to have both links. I just want to have the one. Save, reopen the file, and now if I click on the image, oh, what have I done wrong there? Okay, so as you can see there, it didn't recognize the link. So when I click on this, no, what happened? I've got too many tabs open up, so I want to close them all down, and I want to make sure I only open this one. So when I click on this, as you can see, it's saying that there an error essentially, and what I can see in my code is that I've got https:// twice, and it's not able to find the correct website. So I changed that, refresh this page, better yet, double click on the file, and then click on Alan Turing's image, and as you can see, I'm able to find out more about him. Okay. Right, so my recommendation is pausing this video or going back and actually trying it out with different images or adding more images to your one web page, or you can create multiple HTML files with different for different topics. So one could be on your favorite sport or favorite football player. So you have a web page with informations of them, or you can even start using this for revision. You can have your revision notes in a web page with images and the text that you need. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Look out for the fourth HTML video where we will be looking at adding lists and tables to our web page.